Xin chào các em. Hope you're doing well over there. It's been a long while, and I'm sure you didn't miss me. I didn't miss you either, especially you, Vivian. But I hope that you're still alive and doing well where you are. So you're probably wondering, so we're not in class anymore. How do we submit things? How do you do work? Yada yada. So there are a few things we'll have to do to make this work. So obviously things like handwritten work and workbook is going to be a little difficult. So most of our work is going to be done online. It's going to be done digitally through Google Docs or whatever format we use. Now, this presents a bit of a challenge as you will need to write in Vietnamese for most of the exercises. That includes the introduction that you're meant to do over the holidays, which has been a little weird. So I'm not too worried about the introduction itself at the moment, but what I would like to do in the first couple of lessons coming back is to upskill you guys on how to type in Vietnamese. Now, if you haven't done typing in Vietnamese ever before, it's actually not very hard. Once you learn it, it's really quick. There are other ways you can do this. You could perhaps do this by using those online digital keyboards. Those work. It's a little clumsy, but you can do it that way. I know some of you be doing things like going on Google Translate and copying it over. You're not really meant to be using Google Translate because you're kind of cheating that way, but that's also an option. But I think the most important skill which we have to learn at some point, if not now, then later on, but we might as well do it now since we have nothing better to do, is actually learning how to type in Vietnamese. This is a pretty impressive skill which not many people know how to do until much later on, so might as well do it right now. So there are actually a couple of different ways, and this depends on whether you are using a Mac or a Windows platform. I'm using Windows, so I'm showing you how to download and use a program, an app rather, which allows you to type in Vietnamese. This one's called UniKey. You can download it. I've put the instructions on Classroom. I'm sure you can follow them by yourself, but in case you need someone to walk you through it, then I'm going to show you how to use it in this particular video. If you have a Mac, I actually can't show you because no one's demonstrating it, but it's actually even easier. What you do is go to your keyboard settings in your Mac options and go to Vietnamese and select telex. That's it. The same instructions will apply when we're typing, but just for Mac users, I know some of you using Macs, go to keyboard settings, use telex, and that's exactly what we're using. For Windows, we don't have an inbuilt keyboard, we have to download the app. So the instructions are to download the app called UniKey. So I'll open up, just excuse my screen for a bit, it'll be a little weird, but we're going to look at what you would need to do for the Windows version. So this is the file I've uploaded onto Classroom. I've included a download link. So again, if you're using Windows, you use this. If you're using Mac, you don't use this. You've already got it on your Mac, hopefully. Once you download it, you have to unzip it. Just put it in a folder on your computer somewhere and have an icon on your start menu or your start bar or your desktop or whatever. I'll put on my desktop on my start menu. So that's there. Just double click on it and you get this screen. I'll show you right here. So I've got my start menu. You click on that and I've already got it running. But you get this. Okay, so that's what it looks like. I've put the translations in English just to help you out. But basically, Nong is closed, Get Took is finished, and you have this open. Now, you don't change anything, but the important thing is you keep this on telex. If you're wondering, all these things are different ways in which people type in Vietnamese on a computer, but telex is the standard now. Telex is actually what you use on mobile phones. So if you know someone like your parents or a cousin or aunt who types like crazy on their phone in Vietnamese, they're probably using telex. And the same thing applies in a desktop or laptop as well. So I've put the instructions here, but basically when you type using UniKey, you'll need to firstly activate it. So you have the icon here. Again, for those typing on Mac, it's a little different on the top of the screen. On Windows, it's the bottom bottom right. So it will appear as an E or V. Bear in mind, it might appear in your folder. So if it's over here, you might see it. So you might put it down here instead. So you have the E for English, and you click on it to turn V for Vietnamese. Alternatively, if you're one of those really clever people who use shortcuts, use Control Shift. So Control Shift will change the English. Control Shift again will change the Vietnamese. So that way you can toggle between doing two things at once. Now, how it works is that normally when you type things, Zol or Yol don't appear. So you have no total marks on your words. So for example, if you are typing your self-introduction in English, you might say something like Tôi tên là Minh, tôi 12 tuổi. And as you can see, there's no Yol. We can still read it because we can read between the letters. But obviously, to make it correct, you have to use Yol. So, to do this in Vietnamese, you need to pay attention to the template. So over here is the mole, which is the template. So you will see what you need to press in order to have the Yol appear correctly. So each Yol is inputted by a letter. So you type the letter and then you type the Yol. So for Yosak, you type in S. So I'll give you an example here. If I type in, let's zoom in a bit, sorry. If I type without Yol, that's how it works. But if I activate Vietnamese, I type A, and then I press S. It turns to Yosak. Again, we'll make the size a little larger. You can see it there. Make it. Okay, if I type A, and then I type F, it turns to R. Yohyun. If I type in A, and I press R, it turns to Yohai, so R, and so on. It works for every letter. So O, 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 O. So that's how you transform the vowels with Yol. So that looks tricky, but again, if you go back to the list, you'll see that all these things are listed out here. It takes a bit of practice to get used to it, but you can probably do it quite quickly. So the example here, you have Dao. To type Dao in Vietnamese with Yol, you type in T-A-O-S. It says towels, I know, but if you type it out, I'll type it out right now. T-A-O-S turns to Dao. If we go to our next one, we have the word Ta, which is rabbit. You type out T-H-O-R. So T-H-O is the word Ta, and Yohai is Ta. So again, T-H-O-R. Ta. Whoa, magic. And we have Gao, which is rice. Is G-A-O-J. You type it out. G-A-O-J. Gao. There we go. Actually pretty easy. Now, for the special letters, we have like the, or, and so on. You type in the combination of letters. So for the, that's the hard D. By itself, it's D. You press D again, the. Same the small one, the. For this letter, A, W, get that sign. And then you have something like U or So U and W is U, O and W is So again, we have the examples down here. If you want something like D, it is D, D, I. If you want a word like No, it is D, D, O, O. Sounds weird, but that's what it turns out like. If you want to add Yol, it's the same combination, but you add the Yol at the end. So you have No, D, D, O, O, J, D, D, O, O, J. And that's how it works. Again, if you're using a Mac, then it's already input on your laptop. You just need to set the keyboard settings. For Unikey, you need to have this open. And then you have it on Vietnamese. V for Vietnamese and E for English. Once you finish, you go to Get Took, which is the second option that closes it. And therefore, you can type in normal English. You can always toggle, or you can just turn it off and type in normal English. and that's basically how it works. Now, for this activity, I'm not worried about the typing the whole introduction just yet, but we're going to practice typing. So your first activity for the day is going to be this worksheet. So you all need to download this onto your laptops, and we're going to practice typing. So all you have to do is type the word exactly as it is using the keystrokes. So I'll give you an example right now. We have ga, there's no y'all, so C and A. The next one, forget about that. The next one is ga, which is fish. So ga is C, A, and yosak is the letter S. So you have it done correctly. Ga is C, A, yohai, which is the letter R. And the last one is ga, which is C, A, yohin, which is the letter F. Alright, so that's the first one. The second one, same sort of thing here, just different words. You have these words you might already know. These are family members. Ang, there's no y'all, so just leave it there. Am, same thing. You can just leave it there. Ja, mat, and that's a y'all, so y'all nak. We have the letter J, and so on. Doi, J, Jo, Bak, Go, on, and so on. You can see once you've learned the keystrokes, it becomes quite quick, and I'm sure you young people can do it much quicker than me. And then we have some more complex words, compound words. We have everyone's favorite fruit, sol ring. Looks complicated, but we go through it. S-A-A for U, and then F for Yohin. Ring, R-I-E-E for E, and then N and G, and so on. We have garot, so C-A Yohin, F, R-O-O, that's O-T, and yosak for garot. And then we have a last set of things down here. So that's your task for the first lesson. You simply install the file or toggle it on your Mac, and then practice writing Vietnamese. Use this worksheet, fill it out. That's basically a short test. Don't be a smart guy and just copy and paste. That's not the point here. But I'm sure you can figure out how to do it on your own too. Once you've learned this, our next task, which will be finishing this week and next week, is to type out your self-introduction. So now that you know how to type in Vietnamese, then you should be able to type out your introduction and submit it via Google Docs. We'll do it on Thursday's lesson, so if you don't do it now, then don't worry about it. But I reckon for today, we'll finish this as an activity, and then you can start working on your introduction. If you haven't finished your draft, then don't worry about it too much. You can do it throughout the week. So just focus mostly on learning how to type in Vietnamese. This school will be useful for you for, I guess, however long we're stuck in the quarantine. Anyway, I hope you stay safe where you are, and hopefully we'll see you next time.